What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to give you a little sneak peek here on some of the options trading I did this week and a little insight to what I'm doing next week and why I picked some of these options this week. So let's dive into it here. All right, so if we look last week, Palantir, I did a lot of options with Palantir. There's a lot of news and hype with Palantir right now. We'll get into that a little later. And then I also saw an opportunity here with Apple, bought a call with 3 contracts worth with a 177 and 50-cent strike price. So a little bit of collateral here, about $1,100. But we ended up making, about $200 off it. So we're not talking crazy money here. But I'll go into it, kind of show you where the opportunity was, why I felt that way. We're all about making money on this channel, guys. So I put my, you guys can see this in action here. So I don't just sit here and talk about stuff. I mean, we're making money. So this week, look here from 6/5, all these contracts expired this week, the ones I bought anyway. So for the week, $447. It's, in my opinion, not a bad week's worth for not doing a whole lot here, except just kind of playing the market. So let's check out options here for next week. So there's a lot of news coming out with Palantir. I'm looking again to probably do like a $14.50 or even a $15 strike price. I realize that, right now this one's out of the money, but I think Palantir has a good opportunity next week to, at least maintain this $15 or, even creep up in this $16.50 range. So I do think these are kind of a quote unquote safe bet. And again, I do put these sell puts, with the mindset that if these do get assigned, I'm okay owning these, because I do think, at least in this point in time, that Palantir, it still has some high upside yet and room to grow here. So, $40, $60 per contract, $1,500. It's pretty low commitment for a lot of other stocks out there. And you guys are getting some pretty good premiums with this. So keep that in mind if you're looking for Palantir to add to your portfolio. Some of the bigger news that came out this week that kind of helped drive Palantir higher, and it's driving its prices up yet. They earned a $463 million contract with the U.S. Special Ops. So that's a multi-year contract. So that news came out this week. That was on the 5th. So that was Monday of this week. So that kind of just started the train right off the gate. Now, some of the later news, which is at Thursday, which I think is going to help drive the stock further up next week now. And it did kind of go up a little bit Friday, but it's, again, kind of maintaining this $15. But regardless, don't know what this is, ignore this. But either way, so Palantir actually just announced that they are opening up a new headquarters in the UK, solely for the purpose of artificial intelligence development. There's been a lot of talk that Palantir, is it AI company? Is it not an AI company? So I guess they're in a way pushing this, and this is kind of more or less press that, yeah, I guess they do have some involvement here with this artificial intelligence, and they basically made a headquarters here to kind of help develop this. So I think this is going to help pump the stock a little bit. And on the side note here, guys, Palantir as a whole, just taking out the hype of AI, because that's been, across a lot of stocks right now, causing that to go up. I do think that Palantir overall as a company right now, which in my opinion is the most important thing. The news does help, again, bring up the prices higher or lower, on a weekly basis, more as quote unquote like day traders or swing traders. But I think Palantir as a company right now, is, their financials is what, in my opinion, is wanting me to hold this stock. It's not necessarily this news, but the revenues, from 2019 to date, they've been increasing revenues, which always want to see in a company. They're growing. They've got potential for growth. The EBITDA here, it's, again, this has also been increasing over the years. Another good sign. And if we look at their cash flow, which again is another important aspect here to look at, net income, again, this has been increasing. And if you look at their free cash flow, it started, 44 million. Now we're up to 423. So that's, guys, it almost doubled from last year. And again, I think they have opportunity to keep growing, especially with how they're moving their company right now. They're getting a lot of good deals. They're working on developing more business surrounding this artificial intelligence hype that should again help them overall too with their revenues, which they're already doing well on, as it is. So I do think even as of right now, take the AI stuff out of this. Palantir as a company, I feel that even right now at a $14 valuation, I think that's a fair value right now for this company. And I see this growing in the future. So I guess we can look at the ratings here to see kind of what Wall Street, some of these analysts are. So, guys, right now they're thinking this is like a $9.54 target, potentially a 37% downside, with a high of 15. Now, I think this could be, a little bearish, I guess we want to call it that. But I do see a lot more optimism with this company. And I do think that as they come in with their earnings in the next few months and they continue to hit their targets, that, this price target is going to increase along with it. So again, I think I'm very bullish with this company right now. If we look at the charts here and do a little technical analysis on this, guys. So again, part of why I bought into this last week. So if we look here on the 5th, I had been kind of tracking around this $15 mark. It had spiked on the 7th. It got to the $17 mark. And at that point, it did drop. But, there is this floor here around, let's see. Yeah, they've been hitting this floor here, about $14. So again, this has been trending up for the past few weeks. I was comfortable owning this. Again, I think this is still going to go up. It hit the $17 mark, so I'm pretty optimistic about that. Now, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to see this continue as high as $17 next week. I think there's potential that it could try, trying to reach this ceiling again, but I think we're going to see more of a sideways trend here between, say $14.90 upward to maybe $16. I think it's going to follow this track probably for a couple weeks. And, with some of this news coming out though, with the UK headquarters development, I do see potential again that this Palantir might break 16 and kind of hang out there. But, right now, guys, we've got some pretty solid support right now at this $14 range. And we are tracking on this 200-day average right now too for support. So, between our 13 and 48-day average here are moving targets. It did cross, so we did see this down trend here. Now, I am pretty optimistic with, again, hitting this 13 and this 48, that I do see the potential for this to rise back up and possibly try breaking this $16 ceiling right now. So if we guys are going to do any calls, I would say $16 our next ceiling, next target that we're going to try going for, with potential again of maybe getting to the $17 mark. But just being realistic here, guys, I do think again, this is going to stay between this, $14 up to, $16 until we try breaking through that $16 ceiling again and closing above it. So enough of Palantir. The other thing I did, like I said, mention was Apple. So I did see good opportunity in this last week. So if we look here, on the 5th, so that was Monday, it did hit a very high spike, and we were at $184 price target here. After that, we did see it drop again. And at that point, it had reached this $177 price point. And if we go back to the previous here, guys, this 177 is acting as support right now from the last spike. So that was kind of my target for it to kind of drop to. It didn't quite get to the 176, I guess, was the ultimate low, but I was shooting for between a 177 and 176 range for this to drop to. So, it did track that way. I bought a $177.50 call, which was very close to, the bottom of this. And at that point it did try breaking the 181. It did drop again, and again it went back to that 177 support. So I felt confident that it was going to track at least to that 177. Obviously I wasn't making money at that point, but I was confident that at least in the later part of the week it was going to try attempting the 181 and possibly back to this 184, which that obviously would have been a little bigger payout. But I was tracking this and I bought out of this. It was Friday. Actually, it was pretty close to Friday morning, and it had again tried attempting to break that 181. It did actually close above 181 around the 182 mark. And then at that point, if we zoom in here, I did see some bear candles, and at that point, I did sell off. So I got a sell off. It was around 181 and some change, guys. I don't recall. But it was a good profit opportunity. So I saw an opportunity and I took it. So we did have again opportunity to hit that 184 mark, which would have been nice, but I'll take it. Now looking into next week, I do see probably potential now that we hit this 182. I think what's going to happen is it might hang around that 182, but I do think it's going to drop again back to the 177 support. So if you guys are looking to possibly do some puts or some call options, I would think right now it'd be pretty safe that your next target's going to be 177 or 176 if you're going to do a put. And again, if once we get to that 177 again, I do think that this 182 and potentially 184 are going to be our next ceilings that Apple could potentially hit. I don't see it dropping too much below this 177 right now unless they get some crazy news. But that's what I got for you today. So I don't want to make this video too long, although it's pretty long already. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know if you like, what you're seeing here, if you got any questions. And let me know if you guys are making money here watching these videos. Catch you on the next one, guys.